Okay, and we're back. Yeah, we got some spam to start off with, but let's continue on with our adventures in creating this this application. Check the stream that we're on YouTube here. Yeah, we are. So welcome back if you caught this in the morning. This is the follow-up. Let me just get rid of that spam message. I think it's always courtesy of Twitch, as always. Rid of it from here. Done. Gone. Thank you, Twitch. You provide so much value. Anyway, let's make sure that we have the right browser in here. These two here to play around with. We had this history built up, so now we kind of know how this application works. I was kind of finishing telling you how everything is set up here, and we got to, you know, this how we do unit tests. They're not done in a traditional way. They are done simply by reading the event model in terms of how we test things. They are checking that we got the exact event at the end of the command, given a previous history of events as the prerequisite state of the system. So you can set up any scenario like that. And we focus on the business logic in our state transitions and state views. Had a really good call with Sam Atom, who's doing the Auto AI on Auto event modeling system, which he's a big GraphQL guy and has some pretty interesting experience in kind of expressing how we're going to do the routing in this system. Right now, we kind of have it ad hoc. For example, we're explicitly calling where we want to go next from one particular page to another. But I think there's a case where this is really the gray area with what constitutes business logic. And so I think we can make a green box that has, you know, our navigation plan. And in case we're at a certain state of having things done or not, for example, in this particular example here, go back to the event model, we know that the first part of this application for an organizer is to go through naming, setting dates, and adding rooms. We could definitely make a green box that tells us how far along we are and basically say, you know, what is the next screen we should be on. So that if I, you know, drop into this application at the base URL, we can get a green box that's checked and kind of starts as at naming if we didn't do that. If we just completed naming, but we don't have any date set, it would do this. We could get, you know, we could evolve quite a nice navigation map here, or a set of maps that kind of correlate and link. And that could also be treated as a slice. We would probably express that as an automation step with a gear, where the artifacts of that are whether we redirected someone to the proper endpoint, depending on where they were. So that may be another chapter to add to the event modeling story over the years. I think we were really focused on core business state, and navigation where we are was a secondary concern, as long as the state of the application was okay. Now we can start to look at some other aspects where we might want to add some of the same kind of rigor and predictability and convention as well at the same time to keep it simple um, and predictable. We might explore that. Actually, this one would be a good example since I do have a wizard-like interface for setting up a conference. And then we have a few navigation points that make sense. For example, if you're a participant and you register for something for the conference, but or attempt to do it, you don't just get an error, but you might go, to the next state. So we can make sort of like a state machine of sorts, saying that depending on what state the application is in, this whole system is in, as um, a new participant in the conference, you don't even get to see these screens to, you just get spat out to kind of the generic look here that, okay, you missed registration. You don't get to suggest any topics, but hey, at least you can see the current schedule, um, and participate from there. So those are things we can experiment with. Of course, there's a lot of sort of in between stuff that we can do. For example, if we have closed the registration, but we're still suggesting topics, we might have that. The other thing that I thought of is that we don't really ever end the topic suggestion thing, which is okay, I think. I mean, we're voting for topics. There's really no cutoff here where, the organizer can say, okay, that's enough time for suggesting topics, and this screen here will stop working. I think that's something we should add. For now, we'll just get this going as is. But yeah, there's some interesting things we could evolve event modeling to be, to take on more responsibility. But yeah, right now, let's just go back to the code, see where we left off. The next piece of functionality that we're going to be adding is really this this display of being able to see. I don't know why this text is looking so bad here. Text, why the font color is that black. Why is that not color to black? It's some sort of a display thing here for dark theme. Again, this got reset, so my apologies for the weird colors. As I updated cursor, Draw.io plugin might have been reset. Its settings might have been reset. But right now, I don't know. This is gonna make a difference. It done. Okay. Very weird as that. So if we have automatic, or if we have simple, it seems to give us our proper colors, but then we have, I'm not sure why this text giving a color here. Okay, that seems to be good. Line fill, this is auto text is, see, it still has this, now it's gone to the right color. Not sure why it looks like that. Yeah, if anyone's worked with Draw.io before, let me know why this is defaulting to this nasty color here. If I choose white, is it gonna do the opposite? No, it's not. Black, apply. So there's the text. If I apply the text, the font color here is a different color. I don't know why it's doing this. So very bizarre. I don't know if I can copy this style, copy style, and go across to fix some of these style. It doesn't seem to take the font. Let me see if I can just change it all at once. This is pretty brutal. Can I see if I can do that here? Text, color to black. Doesn't seem to work. Text, color to, I don't know, just for fun. Yeah, it doesn't seem to have an effect. I don't know if I can edit the data in this. Nope. Cancel, edit the object. Data connection point. So yeah, white space. See this font color, like, do I really need to go in here and doesn't seem to have any effects here. Style. So that doesn't seem to do it. Yeah, very, very odd. Font family. Yeah, no clue. No clue why that's doing that. Anyway, I'm gonna leave those to be slightly unreadable. Just highlight them for you if I need to show you what they show. This one seemed to work. I don't know why? Need to do this. I guess I have to go to each individual one. Just double click on triple click on everything. Into 3. Come on, highlight all the text. There we go. Brutal. Anyway, so yeah. We're on to this one here, which is basically showing a list of all the topics and allowing us to see if we want to vote on them. The other thing is we're probably gonna have to update this one to include come on. Usually a triple click works for selecting everything. Not sure why it's not doing it now. Okay. Double click worked. Okay. So we may have a need to show this with the votes or not. So it could be topics with votes. I think, yeah, topic votes, topics, and topic votes. So we already have one here that will show our topics and the amount of votes that we have. So, but it also will update our choices. So we'll have these and whether we voted for them or not in there. So let's implement that right now. And I guess we'll have to do our screen here to commit the last things that we did, because I think we cleaned up a little bit. What do we do? Oh yeah, we removed this filter part. We're basically doing everything as just a reduce. So even though we could combine filter and reduce to find exactly what we want, now we're going to default to having everything as a reduce with a switch statement for the types of events that we're processing. That's our choice to kind of have a very predictable code where we're not deviating from anything. And the other thing that I did while I was on the call with Sam is just to get rid of I noticed that I wasn't stripping the summary information for the metadata that, as we were talking about in the earlier stream, was basically Just helpful information to embed into the name of the file that's going to store the JSON of the event. And it's just for our benefits to be able to see by the file name what's actually in the contents. And so we want to make sure that we are comparing, actually our output is getting rid of that that information when we're giving feedback to the user why a test failed. And I think that was, yeah, there was a couple of cases of that. So I think I want to git add and patch because we want to do this one at a time. So yeah, we want to add this, but then we don't want to add that, and we don't want to add that. Now commit just those changes, saying that use only reduce getting state filtering or anything else in there, although we could if you really wanted to play around. I think this is going to be better because we're going to be able to teach AI to be more predictable by just giving it, you know, a fairly limited space to play in and be trained with. Which is also good for us humans. Like it's very predictable code now. We don't have a reducer here, a filter here, this, that, and the other. We just have a very simple way of doing things. So again, this is just cleaning up the solution here and adding some extra infrastructure capabilities. I'm committing directly to the QA branch. It might be a release branch or some other branch, and we'll start the new set of features once I've done this. Notice that I'm not really changing any particular functionality. I'm not adding any extra slices from anything here, right? So I'm not doing anything with this at all. I don't even know if I've implemented that view. I think I might have, but anyway, that was in the last sprint. So we have that, and now our diff is just these tests that will give the proper output. So we can do just add everything, which would be just those changes to our output in our unit test function, and make sure that we commit this, saying that unit tests now summary and info from a failure back to what the actual comparison. Okay, so now we can push that up, and if we do see which tags we have a start for, which we already did before, but we're going to be moving that up to this place in our history, because we always start off of the latest stable QA build. I mean, I can just double check that we still have all our tests running. So we do node app tests, all our tests are still passing. We just tested the application running through it. So let's start the move the start tag there. So and start sprint 4 tag, we'll just delete it, and then we do a get tag start 4, and current place is just fine, and then we get push tag force that first. Oh, we actually didn't have the tag 3 ever pushed, so my apologies if you were looking for the start 3 tag and you were trying to follow along. Now it's in the history if you pull down this repo. So yeah, let's get going. Our next URL. Oh, this is really bad because we have this font as well, having wrong color. Still not playing ball here. Is there some weird inversion that it's doing on colors here? I don't know what to think about this style stuff. Okay. Again, we're going to go to this font color, and I don't know if we can make it just darker. Doesn't seem to have any effects. Style, white space. Okay, that is weird. Okay, so this style color, that's interesting. Edit style, HTML. Oh, this is pretty cool. So if we don't have any HTML in there, I'm not sure if this will work. But hey, why not? Let's see if that resets our problems. Be something more reasonable. Or background. Kind of getting used to the fact that now you can turn off the HTML in there, which is interesting. I'm wondering how that actually looks in the XML when we save this document now. Should probably be just plain text, which is kind of what I wanted for a lot of this stuff. The text. Here we have this. Background color. Take it back to that green. And I think the font color should now be okay. Yeah, it seems to be all right. It's as if we need to get rid of the HTML embedding in here, and we'll be good to go. I don't know what kind of functionality we lose, but no. Style, that work. We have some other problems here. You see this black background? That seems to kind of work. Now the fill style for the text, white. Okay, so that's kind of what we really wanted. This line style is still in here, which we don't want. I think that's, I don't know how it loaded up all of these things. I see a similar problem here. I don't know what's going on with this. Edit the style. See that you have a whole bunch of stuff here, and I don't know if I can edit the that's kind of ruining it, because I need to have this background color to be something else for the voting part. Yeah, I wish I knew what happened with the styling on Dryo. It's really screwed up everything. It's not something that I committed. It's just the way the plugin started working all of a sudden, which is not good. Now if I edit style, If I can just reset it. Don't want to lose all that. Cancel. Nothing I can do here. But maybe if I can change this background color to be something decent. Can't really see what the heck's going on here. I'm gonna have to come back to this and font color, background. Now it is. Okay, so we can actually fix these. Okay, so that's good. So we have vote here. So this is our vote page. I think we have that already in here. Although I'm not sure. Yeah, it's been a while since I worked on the actual. No, it's not in here. So I'm wondering if we have a vote branch. Slice, state change, state view, votes. So we have that. And I'm guessing it's not merged. No, it is. Interesting. State view votes node. Maybe it's topics. I don't think it's that. Our topics view is where we're getting the suggested topics. I believe it's this one here. Again, I can't really read it. Topic suggestion. This is sessions, and I think it's sessions is what we call topics. So this is actually badly named. We go down here, we'll see sessions. Yeah, sessions here. So, and of course we give so topics and sessions. So we should probably rename that to topics. I don't want to use that. So let's just move that tag one more commit. We have topics, and then our over to here. I think that's the only place that we have that issue. So I don't think we have to change it anywhere else, I hope. All right, one more. See if we can actually go to that, or if it's gonna have a problem. I'm gonna trust it. If we have a issue, we'll fix it as we need. So let's get going with the next votes here. So why do we not have votes as a branch that's not merged? Log. I want to take a look at slice state changes, state view votes. So why is this on February 4th? Why is that a merge? Oh, I see. I think we just decorate. Oh, that's interesting. Shouldn't be really merging branches like this. I think we just have this hanging off of the fact that it's pointing to a merge branch means that this was just a starting branch. We really don't have any work in it because we never merge anything into a topic branch, slice branch. So if we check this out, and we should be able to merge this with a fast forward into this particular one. So let's just add this one more thing, and we'll repush the tags because I just added this last change. I remember wanting to rename some of these things to be a little bit have better naming. Sessions and topics meaning the same thing, just get to the same word. It's confusing not only to us but to the AI as well. So let's see what the get diff is, and that's obviously looking at sessions being replaced by topics. And here we get sessions topics. So if you ever are confused to where the difference is and you hate doing this, you can use diff with color words. Right? So if you do color words, it'll give you a better highlight. So here we just show, what was changed. And I think it can be even better than this, but we have topics and sessions as a change, so it's ignoring the rest. Here it's a little bit easier. I think it's the lack of white space. I don't know if there's ignore white space. Yeah, I forget. Nope. Forget what the option is. Color words. Minimal maybe. Nope. As long as there's no spaces in there, it's going to treat it as words. So anyway, usually it gives you a much better output to see exactly what changed on the line. The default output is good if you just want to see what lines were deleted and what lines were added. That's fine. But if you're literally changing a word somewhere, you want to use color words to just see if it changed what you expected. We can add that and then just commit it. Assistant. For routes, I guess. Use enough. That up. And again, delete that tag. So tag that here. Push the force to overwrite that one. Yeah, now we have our initial start. And we can now merge our branch, which is really just pushing it along. You can use merge, or you can force, or you could update the reference locally. So there's two ways to do it. One way is to do a git merge, no FF, no fast forward. And then here we can do state view and votes. So we could do it that way. The no fast, sorry, the FF only is what that would create a new one. So fast forward only. This will make sure that we're just moving the reference up. We're not creating any new commits. The other way that I prefer to do that, since it works from anywhere, is that I can say git push, and I'm not doing a remote, so I put a dot for the current, pushing to and from the source and destination is the same thing at this point. If I push to the current repo, not the remote, not at GitHub, not anywhere else, I can do the same thing as I did before by, again, if you put in a new reference, not considered a force push if in its history it has the old reference. So in this case, if that wasn't true, it would fail and we'd have to do a force push to update it to somewhere where it's losing history. It will never allow you to lose history by default. So that's why the force push is such a interesting topic. So let's push our branch. Oh, sorry, we want to push. Oh, see, it doesn't recognize that. That's interesting. The origin to cool it and look at our slice, BPF slice votes node. But now we're going to edit that current one and push in the current reference, which is head, where the checked out commit is. And we're going to push that into the local branch, push it along forward. And of course it works because we did not have any commits there. We just created a branch. Now if we look at git log -1, what's that? Have the start tag where we're checked out. It's also where the QA branch is, and our votes code branch. I'm not sure if I pushed that one up, but let's make sure that people know that we're working on this, so we can check this out, hit checkout, and we can do votes, type part of the branch name and hit tab. It'll autocomplete, at least in the fish shell it does, probably in bash by now. So now we're here. Git log will show the same thing, but we know that head is pointing to this branch, which means it updates this branch as we add commits. And of course we can git push the update. So that'll do that. Notice I didn't have to specify those things because I believe my default settings in Git is to branch only. So that's done, and so now we can get the view created. So we can let's just we haven't tested Sonnet 3.7 yet at how good it is in creating new views. So let's take a look at our Draw.io design for what we want to do. We'll go to this. Oh my goodness, why is this not yellow now? Really bad. They're ugly yellow. Things up with this color scheme. I don't know if this is a style thing that I picked. Oh, I see. So some of the stuff we can pick in here. Maybe we're on the wrong layer. In the event model. I don't think that should matter. Grid, page view, background. Oh, that's horrible. I'll do that. Hope that didn't change too many things. So yeah, we have this particular diagram here, and let's just quickly see that we have okay, this is definitely the not the event layer, the progress layer. I don't know if that makes a difference, but this line style should be this. I want that. Text color white. Not sure why it's stripping all of these formatting things. They're odd. Okay, anyway, this is the screen that we want. Um, and let's let the AI do the hard work for us. We already have the design here. So let's just take a screenshot. It's getting late. I'm starting to get really tired after today. Running around. Let's copy this. Actually, shouldn't need to do that. I can just press. I do this and then just press copy. Enough. Way, and then I can go to our app.js main function here. Scroll down to the last thing that we did, which is essentially our topics view. And here we're going to render topics. That's get. And submit session. Topic suggestion. I think there's a button that we have that goes to the votes in the topics view. Those are the other thing that I want to do is make sure that you know, the next voting, this actually should be votes. So the fact that this has a button, continue to voting, I kind of want to have this be more server side driven than to have it sprawled into this view here. And I think we know that this is going to be votes now. Okay. And in this case, we are going to go back. I don't like changing this here. Maybe we just do voting. Fine. We'll change our design. A voting. Why not? And so now that means I'm going to take a screenshot of this. So things kind of make sense. The AI will match things up to what we want to do. And so that's that. And kind of nice to be back working on the actual features than fiddling with the infrastructure for event sourcing. So copy that. Now that we have it here, we can go to our app.js, our terminal. We can paste this in. Say make a new view for voting page. Use existing S. That's it. Good. See what it does. We are using Sonnet 3.7 here. So this is the first time that I've done the UI generation using Sonnet 3.7. Not sure what it's thinking about here, but okay, the app.js that it has. Voting page view seems to not be throwing any weird stuff in there, which is good. Voting mustache, good. What does it have to say for itself? Now we need to add the routines. Okay, so it really does know how to do a lot of stuff. It's gotten enough of a guide as to how we build this application to add new steps, new functionality very easily. And this is why we do by the slice approach, because we get very predictable things here. This is a very, very good first attempt. Count votes. 1. Voted. We kind of don't want to have you must be registered. It didn't giving me tests even. Okay, so well, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. See voting Multer, get access token wrapper. Yeah, used to be doing that correctly. Doing that, change 3. I generate session ID. Why it's doing a session ID? I don't need a session ID. Very bizarre. Update votes. Don't like the word update votes. So I'm almost impressed. I'm impressed that it got our nesting correctly. That it first has to check the token to make sure that that we're properly did. So let's look what it did here. I'm not sure if this is correct. Where is it getting the... I guess it's getting it in the request. Yeah, I guess that's where it would do that. So get the access wrap, yeah. And then on error next, if it errors out, it goes somewhere there. Here on success, we actually get the state wrapper instead, correct? And we get the sessions. That doesn't really... Yeah, this should be topics. I'm not sure why it's using the word sessions. So let's just go back to our code. Do we actually have sessions still in somewhere in our code? Oh yeah, submit session. Topic suggestion. We have submit topic. So the reason we're using the word session is because that's what, you know, the presentation is about. And we have events that are calling it sessions. So a session has a topic. I guess we have to I really don't want to have this extra word in here, but I guess a session has a topic, and then session also has a style. So it can be a topic, it could be the same topic, let's say event modeling, but you could have one session that's intro or a presentation on event modeling, and another session that has event modeling as the topic, but the session is a question and answer, or a fishbowl. I guess we have to keep both. I really wish we didn't. I think they're sometimes used interchangeably, which is a problem with the ubiquitous language stuff from domain-driven design that people, what do you mean? Are you talking about the topic, or we can clarify as we go. So, okay, since we do have 19 of these words already, obviously, in here, I have to deal with that. Let's see what it did with some of this stuff. So it rightfully resets every time we have a conference generated. It now makes a registered collection to have names and registrations there. Has all of the topics here. Looks up the registration, the name, who did what. I don't like this. It doesn't need an ID. I don't know where it got this idea for generating a session ID. Does not need IDs. So that is a hallucinated thing, and I think the only reason that that is done is because we create an ID for registrations and for conferences. And so I guess enough of the training solutions out there always have an ID with an entity, but I really wanted not to drive that here. So I'm not going to use that. Yeah, it shouldn't really need anything. We could use the combination of the topic, and yeah, we're gonna get into some issues here, but I think for now it'll be okay. If we have clashes of names, we're always going to have a session suggestion that's going to have a topic, format, and name. So we could easily find duplicates if two different people put something in. Although I think we already have a bad business rule that's not correct, and that is that if a topic already has been suggested, you're not allowed to that. I think I'll let it fly. I think in the future we would want to have the same topic but a different presentation format. So right now the workaround will be to actually include something extra in the topic to say that it's a discussion. Re-emphasize that with the type of facilitation that we pick. Whew. But I am impressed in terms of what it made here. This is quite good. Being able to reduce this easily, get rid of the ID. We don't really need an ID in there. So what the heck? Why don't we just add it and see how it goes? The really impressive thing though is that it attempted to. I don't know if this will work, but it made tests. It's just crazy that it was able to do that in our custom format. It seems to be correct. That it's updating the votes. Reject voting when actually I'm interested to see what it put for the reasons. When the user isn't registered, right? So exception, no registration, registration ID. Hard to get to that point because you would have a URL with that already. So I don't know about this test. I mean, fine. Let's do that. Here it has a registration, and now it says it allowed voting for a registered user. Well, that's correct. Actually, it is quite impressive that it's doing that. And then the next one is same registration, session 2, session 3. I don't know where these words are because we don't have, I don't think this would work because we don't have, the timeline doesn't add, yeah. Yeah, we don't have the sessions submitted. The tests don't look right because there are no events that have suggested topics session included in the command. I wonder if it'll. I'm curious. See if it knows. Okay, so there's another problem. This is entirely wrong. This is hallucinating. I'm not doing any of this stuff. I'm not gonna bother with this. Too many things I wouldn't do. The tests. I don't understand event sourcing enough to know that I would probably want to check that the command is actually voting on something that is a topic that is suggested. So we're going to only borrow the logic for the view. Make sure that that is working. Okay. And we'll accept the file. And then we'll just take a look at it here. Don't want the rest of that. So thank you for that. App.js, we're over here. Look at the here. Topic state view. Now we can get the voting error next. State wrapper. Yeah. But that's not correct. We need to understand that we need to say, where do we have it here? State wrapper, get access token. Yeah, we need to wrap it in the get access token because no one can see this if they're not part of the conference. That's the voting part. Yeah, so it does that correctly. That is correct. I don't know if it does need that. I guess it would need its own token to figure out which of the topics, if we wanted to highlight the topics, are your own. But I don't think we're going to do that. So we're just going to ignore that. If it succeeds, we're just going to go ahead and look at the voting state view. And the voting state view is already made this, didn't it? Okay, so we do that. Conference registered. Session submitted. Let's get rid of this highlight. Okay, good. Um, nice. Okay, so conference ID, yeah, registrations registered. It adds a lookup for that. Okay, and here it shows all the topics. Yeah, voting state view. However, we don't have we need to have a voting. We need a default break. We need to add a new event. This is interesting because each user can have we have an update. This is going to be interesting because we have kind of our state of the world of what we're voting for and what we're unvoting for, essentially. But during those times, we can have new topics suggested. So we don't really have a complete view of everything on the screen. We have stale data on the screen, right? These are posts and gets. And so even if we had real-time updates in a single page app, but there's still a delay. So there's still like when you hit the button to update your votes for what you want, what you don't want. This would make sense if I think we have to worry about a future feature that actually is implemented in some unconferences, which is you get a finite amount of votes. Like vote for your favorite 10 sessions or 20 sessions or 5 sessions, just so that people's votes are more important. Like if someone says, "Oh, I'm going to be happy if I see all of the sessions," I'm just going to give a vote to everything, and basically throwing away their vote. So we were considering, well, I was considering at one point to just have a, votes updated type thing. So we could just say voted for session, right? I think we can, for session, and I think it's voted for sessions. We have that as one event because we have our screen and we put check boxes, mark off the check boxes of things we want. And then we say vote for these. So that is one action. So we're actually going to have an event which has a collection of things we want. It's important then to take away, like we can update that multiple times. And so we need to have our reducer kind of make sense of the fact that we're no longer voting for something that we voted before, that we voted for before. So this voting state view is going to be kind of easy to make because we kind of erase all the votes that we made. However, we're going to have some sort of a map to look those up and then do a count on all of the people that have put their names to a specific session so that we get the actual number. And then, we have to clear our name first from all of the sessions that are there, right? So session submitted, so we have topics, right? So we have the topics collection, which is correct. So what is our state of the world? Like we have our conference. I don't like null. We don't really need the conference, right? We know that we're in a conference here, and so yeah, we're just going to this is the thing that resets this after we generate conference. We don't want to inherit the votes from previous previous conferences. So this is really, we can have a function in here, internal function called clear make default state, right? Something like that, right? And then over here, we can just say when a conference is done to a default state. And right, that's what we do. So I don't want to repeat how we reset things. Maybe, and maybe we have, yeah, session votes. So we have a session submitted, which has the topic, the facilitation, and that. We know that the topic is unique because we have a test in our crap here from Twitch. Thanks, Twitch. Garbage. Okay. So as long as we know that this is a unique identifier because we don't allow duplicate topics, then we can assume that our sessions key is going to be that. And so actually don't, I think we can have collection topics like that, and the key can be the topic here. So instead of push topic, we can say topics, and then put in the event dot session submitted. It would be topic. We don't need the push. And just say equals, and we don't need this. And here we have all the information here. The facilitation, who suggested it, from registrations, yeah. And I think that is our end of our object. That's the end of our object. Yeah, perfect. But we also need, for this particular topic, we have who's doing it, what type it is, but we also want to have the vote count. And we want that to be 0. Okay, or no, votes. I think we want to see who voted it. So votes would be, an empty collection. So every time we have a session submitted, we have that. And then when we voted for sessions, so in this case, we need to probably have a little bit more room to show what we do here. And here we know that the topics, we want the topic that we picked. Yeah. And votes, we want the registration ID to be in there, sure. And I don't know if we want that. It's kind of like a set, right? Want to. Let's make it a new set. I don't know if that'll be a. right? That's kind of what we want here. A registration kind of gives us voted for everything. We could have the names in there, but I think the registration IDs are okay. I definitely don't need to display, you know, who is. I don't need to return this. I actually want to return this, but then I want to construct. I want the state to be like this because then I actually want to return. I want to return custom thing that's a custom structure that. See, this state has lookups like registrations. I don't want to return that as my model. I want to return exactly what the UI wants to see, and maybe there will be registrations, but I don't know. So we have these topics. We have this lookup. I don't know if I need the name here. Okay, so these topics will need to have. Yeah, we have votes and then vote. We need a vote count as well. Although I could just count it there. Voted for sessions. So not only do we need to do. Okay, this is actually wrong because in our event we have voted for sessions, and now we have event dot sessions for each session. Okay, we need to do that. But first we need to clear. Just see if AI does this. Clear all votes. This. Right. So no. So we need to do top. Okay, we need to do a for each topics dot for each. And yeah, I think we need to do that. And then add the new votes. So this is correct. So as we go for each topic that you can vote on, each of those topics, we're going to delete the registration ID of this particular person, which is exactly needs to be done to clear out their votes because they gave us now, by check using the check boxes, they gave us all the new votes now. So that's interesting because now we have a registration ID, and yeah. So we're still working on just a display here. We haven't actually written this this event. We're starting with the view first. So we're assuming this event exists. We can add some fake events for this. And I like the AI to be done in steps. So the next thing we need to do is make a scenario of fake events to be able to have this run. In other words, for this view to work, it needs most of these. Probably just need the conference generated. I guess for some tests, I mean, we could have test cases if we wanted to have that. But in order just to get the things wired up, the infrastructure wired up correctly, kind of like the happy path done. Probably don't even need a fake event for this. We just need someone to be registered, so that you have a name to someone that we can display next to their topics, and then their submission of a session, perhaps multiple users, and then we can vote for the sessions. Now, I did have a script that said make fake event. I'm not sure. The reason I wanted a script is because the AI generation of individual files is quite tedious. I don't know if the latest version of this Cursor AI will make this a little easier. Because I need to create these fake events to be able to just run this. So yeah, I don't want to do all of these things, so we can do state topics. Yep, state topics. Votes. I guess here we do need we can do the count. For each topic, we can say topic dot vote count. And then we can do that. And I have a number. And then we can do state equals we don't want to send the actual it's like this. And then what do we do that before? Delete state dot registrations. Yeah, state topics votes. I don't know if that's correct. I can just remove the votes from the state, remove the registrations from the state. Yeah, that's it. And so now we can return state, but we also want to, or we do that, to have pick vote count equal to that. Actually get rid of that itself, and that's the state that we want. So we don't want the lookup. We're using the lookup to actually populate each of these, which will be the lines in our UI. So each session will have, you know, who suggested it, the type of session that it is, and of course the topic name. So we do actually want the topic. So we name here. I don't want to have to key, I don't want to have to look at the is this the right thing? We don't want to look up anymore. We want it there. And so these topics, so maybe we do sessions. So what I'm doing here is really making the resulting model what I want. I really don't want the topics either. I want to count up. For each topic, I actually want to create a state entry for state So our default is going to be sessions. We have topics, which is a different thing than sessions. And we want that to be just an array. We don't want that to have a lookup. I don't know if I want array's good, I guess. And all the delete stuff, okay, I don't want to. So I just want to extract what I want from this. I don't care about the state. I want to return the model. Let model equal just an array. All we have. Model push topics. Kind of don't want to do that. I want that in here. As we go through each one, this removal. We don't want sessions, so we don't want the sessions thing here. Delete that. Our model is this. And for topic, we want to do, get rid of that. And we want to just ape model dot push. So yeah, we have the topic name, the type of facilitation it is, have the name of the person that suggested it, vote count. That's all we have. That's perfect. Now the other thing, I don't think it's done here. This is an interesting an interesting problem is if we were to highlight your own topics. We're not going to do it for this one, but there may be a good logical place for um, we would probably need to not have the name in here only, but also the registration. Remember, the registration ID is kind of like our token, so our identifier of who we are. But if we, added the registration ID in here instead of just actually, we do have the vote. So we have all the registrations, and we could mark off the one that if yeah, if we actually return the votes, include the collection of registrations, we could display and highlight what we suggested. So maybe we would have, maybe we wouldn't be allowed to vote. Like maybe you have a business rule where you can't vote on your own stuff. I'm not adding that invariant here, but you would need to think about what you pass back. Do you have enough information here for, if that's enforced somewhere, that that you wouldn't be able to vote for your own thing. So this is purely for display purposes, and if you want to show that something's grayed out, you can't do it. This is where you have to do that. We can still have that invariant by checking whether you're trying to vote for something. We're only doing the state view right now, but when we do the state change, we're actually submitting doing this voted for sessions event. That's where we could have that invariant enforced, that you can't vote for your own stuff. But this is just the UX part. Like, can we display that that's grayed out? You'd have to return in this view the registration IDs for everyone that's voted, and then you have to gray those out. So those are interesting concepts. We're going to have a lot of that type of a problem of it kind of starts to leak into other kind of conditions that we have to check for, such as role-based access and other things, whether who's owning what piece of information. That ownership navigation stuff is something that we can bake in at specific layers and try to keep these as simple as possible. So let's visit that another time. So so far this is okay. I think we can, we don't need this. We don't need any of this. And we can just return the model. We can say that we can use a map to get all this done in one shot. And this object values, every time I see this object values is telling me there's something that's wrong here. State topics, right? So topics is this thing. So if we have topics as an array, then we can just do map directly without that object values. So let's try that. Remove that, and when we have topics, session submitted. So topics is just a push. So that should work for that. Now, however, this won't work. Oh, it might actually work. Topics for each. And then the sessions. So we clear them out, and then we go through each session that we voted for. And we look up session and topic. I think it's topics. So we do that. But this is not good because we need to go through each. Yeah, we need to do, so each topic in the event that we vote for, we need to find that in here. So that goes to this needs to be find. Yeah, that is that, and then that's what we need. Perfect. Yeah, so first we go through all our accumulated topics and erase our own vote for this user's vote. Right? I don't know if that doesn't. Okay, so votes are, they're now a set, and we have registrations. So that's the name. So votes, we have a set of, and and they're just registration ID. So we delete. Here we add them back only when we match on the topic. Perfect. I don't know this find thing. I want this to, I don't want this to error out. So I'd rather not do a find. I'd rather do a topics for each, even though it's going to go over this a few times. But topics is an array, so for each should be fine. Pick goes to, if topic equals topic, then that's it. Okay, so this is the find was scaring me because if I don't find it, do I have an issue with being thrown? I don't want errors thrown in any of this stuff. We may have to come up with a better way to kind of again replace the reducer with our custom reducer, so we could catch errors in a generic way because they're not supposed to fail, and maybe our default kind of approach would be to have each state view have a collection of exceptions, which we could show on the screen as toast pop-ups, or more likely as something that that can be PagerDuty or whatever else, all sorts of things that we could say that this particular state view has issues with some of these types of events today. Should review these exceptions. You've got some issues with logic, so that I think would be really good if we get a framework that does that by default, quote unquote framework. To build one here as we need. I like that we're organically growing this from the needs that we get as we experiment. So I think, yeah, I like this a little bit better here. I doubt this will work the first time. Seems a little bit non-trivial because of the weird way that we're dealing with votes here. But I'm happy with this iteration. Yeah, so essentially what we have is a set for each, you know, who voted for this. And the fact that it's a set, we know that, you know, you can only vote once for each topic yourself. And this allows us to really kind of emulate the idea of checking and non-checking a checkbox. And this will probably change significantly when we do implement in another version a limit of a legal limit to how many votes you can cast. You know, we could do a lightweight invariant on the client side where we have JavaScript making sure you don't have more than whatever number of checkboxes checked. But obviously, we don't want it to be hackable. You do want that invariant checked on the server side, making sure that we're never voting for more than we're allowed to vote. But that's it. So we should be able to return the model. Again, here we just transcribe this, and I think this should be a map. So we wanted this to be a map, right? So now we can ask for it to be a map. This to one liner map. Now we shouldn't have that object problem. Taking its sweet time. Usually it's fast. Ah, what the hell, we'll do it ourselves. Cancel, out, return, date, topics, dot map, topic goes to topic. And in here we have, what do we have? We have a topic, topic. Beautiful. Okay. So it did finally catch up, and I just was able to we can just have this on the next line for readability, which is kind of nice. So topic goes to topic, facilitation goes to facilitation, name goes to name, vote count. That's the important one here, is that the vote count is just the size of this. That's kind of what we want. I didn't want to have extra stuff here for doing this. I think it was enough just to have the votes, but I certainly could have a vote count here as well and just add a update to all this every time, but that seems ridiculous. Do it at the end here. It's really reducing what the world that we needed with all the lookups and all that to be now reduced, not reduced, but mapped to just the model that we want, which is very simple. We just have, you know, an array of objects that have the name of our session. We have the type of session it is, whether it's a presentation or QA, who suggested it, and then of course how many votes exist for it already. Okay, so that's kind of what we have. Now, I'm not sure if this is enough. I'm just remembering that we need to be able to update our votes. So we actually need to have our, we don't need the registrations lookup, but we need the votes. Can we do a set from? Is that valid? Oh. The reason that we need it is actually we don't need it. Hold on. No, we do, because we need to know what we voted for. I think we need to do that. And here's something that happens quite a bit in event sourcing is we sometimes have something like a filter registration ID, which is something that you want to kind of highlight because it's giving you context into what you want, but I don't want that. I really need this to be generic, and now the model should show, you know, what we voted for. I really don't want to have I really don't want to have anything to do with who is asking for this. I want that business logic to not live here at all. It needs to be above the level. So it's interesting here because now we can render, obviously we just want to render the state. Don't need to wrap it around like this. So we can just pat the state is this array here of these objects. And now the trick is whether our mustache logic can filter out based on registration ID which things to put a checkbox. And I think I would be leaning too heavy on the I'd be leaning too heavily on the templating engine of Node Express to do that. That would make the solution less portable. I don't like that, so I think we will have, yeah, the HTTP layer has the credentials the awareness of the token. We definitely don't want to pass in a token and say, you know, we don't want something voting state history for, and then in here have registration ID, right? I don't want that. I mean, I could. The reason I don't want that is that it makes this a different execution for a whole bunch of different cases, and it affects my indexing and a whole bunch of other things, and maybe that's okay, but I don't want to deal with that complexity right now. So I'd rather push that out to the next layer. I know a lot of people do this, but I'm not going to. It would make more sense if I wanted to show a subset. And I think with the dynamic context, consistency boundaries examples that we will do in here eventually, where we want to show something filtered entirely by a user. So some of the things that we reduce on may also be, you know, does this user own this? We're going to start to filter certain things, especially privacy things, to just not even get those into our accumulator at all. Like, just keep them out of there because they don't belong. Alternatively, we can filter them out after we get everything. In this case, we're just highlighting the ones that we voted for. So it's not as crucial. So I think that we need this voters, this array of voters. And then we're going to need to map this state that we get in here. We're going to we're going to have to do everything in here. So topic goes to topic. Then we want to copy everything because we kind of have everything that we want. And then we want to have voted goes to pick. Oh, it knows what I'm doing. That is incredible. Yeah, that was really good. So we copy everything. We then look at the voters and check if we voted. If our voters set includes our registration ID, which is crazy. Now we don't need to do this. We can also have const token equals here, and we can take the token, so we're not. The reason we can do that is because our get access HTTP wrapper checks whether we have rights to this page and throws an error. That's why we have this error on next. And on success, it does whatever it needs to do, which is obviously rendering this response. But it also returns this for any subsequent things that we may want to do. And it's actually quite interesting because I'm actually not sure if this will work. Hold on, what's the execution thing here? Okay, this is delayed, so it's just passing this. So we get the access token here. we pass all this on. This this executes and will only, yeah, so this actually gets called later because it's just a method passing. So that this token will be populated. It returns right away and gets populated here. Looks pretty funky though. Yeah. What is this, kerning? What is this called? I think it's called kerning. Anyway, we'll see. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We can just pass in, we know the request as the registration ID. But the reason that I don't want that is because this actually has some logic to gouge out the registration ID either from the URL or the body, I think, of the post. So it's got a couple of places it can find the registration ID. So that's why I want to use the registration ID from the token and not rely on the request, although I know that's our main sort of convention to get it through the URL. Yeah, so the other thing we need to do is that we don't need to pass along the votes. So that's mapping it. Can I just do votes? Undefined. Does that work? I forget whether that works or not. I think that did work once. I forget how it didn't. Anyway, we should get some barfs here. Now, the other thing that we need to do now, I'm going to make a new chat because I'm going to ask for fake events to make sure that we can test the view. Going to add this to chat. They add fake events. Slice. View. Let's see what it does. And this is the one that I had a problem with before because the cursor AI usability for creating many small files was cumbersome. And that's one of the reasons I made a script to make fake events so that at least I could have maybe one giant input string add this stuff. Oh my, it's now doing tests. Don't want tests. Vote function. Vote for topics. Okay, I don't want to vote for topics. That's, I just want. Okay, maybe this is a string. I don't want the word to test. Add fake events to the scenarios. Fake. Or I say view. You get voting and voting.mustache. And I guess I can do dash. Okay. Should know But I'm just asking for those different scenarios. Like I have set date stuff here, time slot. I kind of, I don't know. The context window might be too large for this, so this is where I, yeah, I might. Well, it's doing that. But now I have conference ID generated, conference named, registered, which is interesting. Has a conference ID in here, which, and this is the wrong order. By the way, we name the conference and then we open it up, and that's when we get the conference ID made. So it sort of is okay. It's got some registrations for a couple of users, 3 users. Sessions submitted. So we have some sessions. But it doesn't have, yeah. It's doing too much. Don't add any code. Just make fake. Assume the voted for session event already is yeah, I think I'm asking too much of it. So definitely we need to have some AI shaping, and this Claude 3.7 is. So, okay, it created quite a few. I wish that it would be able to apply creating of, okay, so that has all these. Conference ID 0102, session submission events. So this is bad because it's not creating a file for each. So make sure create fake. Okay, so doesn't look like it did enough. Maybe it did. Yeah, it's got, okay, conference ID generated. Then it's got registrations for these people. Workshop. Yeah. Yeah, it's voting for these. Yeah, these are their votes. Okay, I think we can do that. Let's see if it puts them in the right place. So apply. Oh, okay. SV voting. Used to be good. Accept. It applied that, and I apply that. Accept file. Yeah, I wish there was an apply all. Is there an apply all? The bottom? There is. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. I don't know when they did that. So this will allow us to use. I still have to say accept file in all these. Yeah, I'm happy that it did that. Accept. No. Kind of weird. That. So I still have to do this. So it sort of works, sort of doesn't. Okay, and why is this not? Fake events. Voting. Registered Alice Johnson. Okay, close that. Really don't like the tabs as well. Okay, so it took some cajoling, but it did what it was asked for. It tries to do too much, which is okay. So let's just kill some of these things here. Get rid of this. So one of the things that we have in our script, again, in Fish, our event script allows us to copy scenarios from this directory into our this fake events directory to our real event stream so that we can actually run something. So we can also tab complete this. So EV events, and then we can see that we can go to scenarios and we can tab complete that for all the different scenarios that we have down here, such as register or whatever. But right now we have the voting. And so we've hit enter. Notice that it copied into our event stream everything that we just created in the fake events here. So this whole thing to test this particular slice is now done, is now put sort of live, quote unquote. And what this allows us to do is then run the application. Oops, not the tests. Run the application as is. And we can go straight to voting. And unfortunately, I went to the wrong place. And oh, that's another problem. I see what it is already. You see the forbidden. It's my chat display is really from. I should probably have it in Firefox or something. We're launching in the same browser, and so sometimes when I click on this last, it has that. We'll see what it created here. So now that this is the last browser window that we had, again, let's go to voting. Notice that we don't have a registration. It's good. It's saying forbidden. That's what we want, because in the code we have that wrapped up in our token checker, and if we're not passing our token in, which is our registration, ID, then yeah, we can't. And I think that's a question mark, and then that equals, and then of course we can pick that out of our registrations here. So this is the state. Notice that we get this in our votes. So conference ID, named registrations, we have Alice, Bob, and whatever. And we can pick these IDs out. Being, oops, run it again. Pull up, add those registrations. Control Shift copy, go back here, actually put that in. We should do that. Okay. And of course, we have this token not not allowed to be used. So not access token before actually. Now, this is interesting because I wanted this to be on the server side. So we should have an internal error. So this is actually showing us another problem that we have. Our application, and that is that when we throw an issue in this access token, actually, what is that? Right, so that's actually something that we need to fix. Actually, it's not a problem in our application. It's just we can't do this. Right, we can fix this by doing rec dot should do it. I will come back to this to see you know, whether we want I think we actually do this. So sorry, I think we're okay. I think we do have token here. And then this would be the token. Yeah, because we do return the token here, and I just want to go to see our implementation, whether we were smart enough to do that. No, we pass in the state. But we do return the token. We do run this here on success. We do that. Success, yeah, success action token. So yeah, we do pass it along. Yeah. It gives us our name and our registration, which is okay. Put more things in there if you want, but now this is good enough. So now I know that, you know, we can pass this along properly. So that's where it is. We do also return it for other things once it's initialized, but definitely can't push it into the function. So I forget whether there's this, forget what it's called, kerning or whatever, closures or whatever they're called. When these things are initialized and when they're initialized. So now we have something that's better. We're not relying on the request having the token. Again, like I said, we may have different ways of passing the token that this get access token can do for us here would be tied to this opinion that is always in the URL, and that's not a good thing to propagate. I think being able to, you know, whatever we're running upon success, and actually we already have that here. Now hold on a second. We have too many things here. Topic, body topic. Oh, this is something else. Yeah, we something else. But we already did this. Yeah, okay, so we already did this in other places. Voting state view, here we have the token, and then we can take the token registration ID, which is, okay, so I think we should have that fixed. Again, we can reload this. Oh, there we are. Now, we didn't even look at the code that it generated for the view. One of the shining things that I love about Cursor AI is I didn't even bother looking at the code for the HTML here. It just did what it was supposed to do. So the problem is there's no sessions available here. So that's wrong. So we have a collection of topics here. That is the state that we have. We have 11 events that we counted in total that we went through. But we do have a problem with what we're returning here. And unfortunately, maybe the so we have sessions, input type, checkbox, ID. And checked for that. That's actually really good. So I can be brave and ask, why is this not showing any entries? How many? One. So we have topic, 4 topics. It'll probably catch something that we're not seeing. Oh yeah, so we have sessions. Yeah, we do need to put that into sessions, and then we need to have the registration ID passed along as well. Makes sense? So map state, blah, 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 render, and then we need that as an object. Sessions. And that we have there, that's our sessions and state map. And then here, what we have is registration ID, which, so that's good. I knew there was just a, yeah, looking at the object different way. Remember, we created our model after the view was created. view looks great. It's just what we ended up making in the model did not match our template anymore. We never asked we didn't ask the IDE to check that for us, and to be expected, and that's okay. It was nice to be able to see just how far we went with on its own. And there we go. Look at that. It even has checkboxes. So holy smokes, look how amazing this whole thing is. We can update our choices. We kind of want to have a current count in there too. I guess we could. I don't know if we should. What is our UI telling us to do? So let's see now. Go to our IO. Yeah, we have votes in here. So why did it not create a votes? It does have a votes input checkbox. Here we have our no sessions. So we have we have votes, name, facilitation. Okay, so we actually didn't bring back the count of votes, which is interesting. Did our fake stuff have votes? Interesting. Take a look at our session voted. Yeah, we have votes, so we should be able to see count of votes. Yeah, there's a bunch of votes in there. So our model is just not properly. I think we have votes count, right? So you just have to call it votes. Voted seems to work. So let's take a look at here. Voters, we have that. Because we need it. But we need votes as well. So let's just add votes. Here we can do the size. That should be good enough. I think that will get passed along. Rerun this and just refresh this. Still don't have it. Okay, so we have votes. We're getting the right stuff here. Votes 1, votes 2. But for some reason we are we stripping those? So we have every topic voted. Oh, votes is undefined. Okay. So we don't want to erase votes. Hold on, what do we do here? Voter, votes. No, we need vote count. Vote count. Because votes is that. Although we could put it at the other end. Okay, we need this collection there. Yes, we do. And so vote count is what we'll have to change this to, which is fine. Vote count. That's all we need. And I think we should be good now. Rerun all this and refresh, and we should have, yeah, so we have our votes, and we know that we voted for this as being our Reg 1. Of course, if we look at Reg 2, That's the other person. So they voted for these. And then, of course, Reg3 voted for this. Thing. So that's awesome. I think we want event modeling basics. Event storming is not what we're concentrating on here. So we'll do that one last edit. So let's go to our fake events and do our sessions submitted. Again, we're using the full name as the ID, which is fine for now. Again, as we evolve the system, we can move to another scheme, which is better. The beautiful thing here. So here we can rename this. Rename event modeling. And here we want to rename this modeling. So session submitted, event modeling rename. And here we have event sourcing, event modeling, event modeling, event modeling, event sourcing, and of course in here we need to, well, modeling. Good. And where else do we have event modeling? Modeling here. Okay, event modeling is here. And event modeling is here. Event sourcing, that's good. So now we can go back and scenarios again. And we can run the application. Double check. Brief. Yeah, so we now have event modeling here. We can check the other registrants to see if they still have the same votes for whatever. And that's it for today's slice. It was quite a lot of work. It's not a trivial slice here. We're doing quite a lot of functionality here. But remember that we were able to accomplish quite a bit in a very short time, and our implementation is quite quite small for all the things that we accomplished here. And again, one of the most beautiful things about this is really just how quickly this UI was generated from our mockup and used the existing CSS for consistency. We really didn't have to swim in any UI work whatsoever. Again, everything is a reduce when we're dealing with these types of applications, which is a really good way to, you know, get some default state and build that up to the world that you want to see in order to do all the things you need to do with all the different types of events that may have happened in the past. And then, of course, map it to something that is exactly purpose-built for your model, right? In this case, we did need to get all the voters in there so we could highlight what we voted for. And tomorrow we're going to basically implement the next screen. I think in here we have this update your choices, which is great. That we can update them, and we'll test that out tomorrow. To get the post side of this page, we got the get side, and really we started off with, you know, the end goal in sight. This is what we wanted to do. It was all contained in that one vertical slice in our event model, and we worked backwards from what we wanted and built up the model that we wanted the view to get. We looked at the possible history and made some a fake history very quickly for being able to show, you know, that this particular piece works. Notice I didn't have to go through the entire application. Our command line utility that we built can quickly create the scenario that we want for any particular piece of functionality or slice that we want to implement. So I hope this was educational for you, and you sort of got the gist of why we want to have these by the slice development methods. So very nice additive only way of working. I really don't have to go and refactor a lot of code ever. So, you know, once I have something working, I'm really not relying on rerunning the tests because I'm not touching stuff that already works. Yeah, so hopefully that was fun. It's not even midnight yet, which is good. So yeah, this was a fun session. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed coding it up, because it really was fun. And yeah, so that is quite a nice implementation. That yeah, we can yeah, we have votes there, and we can say if we want to do that. We should also have you know, we could sort these. I don't know if they're sorted. we could change some of the votes here to show that it's not sorted and solve that problem, but that's just a display issue here. But yeah, let's just clean this up now, and you know, we're running here. Let's just look at the Git status to show what we did. So we modified this. We added all these fake events, and we added our new view, and that's in our votes state view. That's why our branch is called this. And of course, we can merge it to the dev branch because we're finished, and we can test it with everything else. But we already are there. Our dev branch actually has to be reset to the start branch. But let's just commit this. So we can add everything. Let's look at the status, and this will show us all the fake events that we put in there to be able to test our slice. Got our new our view that we wanted. That was very quickly generated for us. We spent very little time on the UI, which is really a pleasant surprise. And of course our modified app.js, which is actually quite a small amount of updates. So if we do a git diff staged, and then we look at just the app.js, we'll notice that we only have the route that we're getting for rendering that page, or we simply wrap what we want to do with this token wrapper, which checks for us if we have a token that we have rights to view this page. And then what we wrap in that is getting the state here. And we have a HTTP wrapper for that, again, just to catch all the possible problems that we might have. Maybe accessing the disk, we might have a 500 error, and all of that, of course, then plays well with using our custom error pages, so we don't have that ugly white screen when we get an error. We still have the same CSS as the rest of the site. And it hey Jake, you can use it anytime. You can so nice to see you on watching, Jake. Just this is pushed up. Well, it'll be pushed up in a second here. You can look this up, and just, you know, add, maybe as an exercise you can add the next slice. But yeah, if you're interested, look at the scripts, the fish shell scripts that I have to kind of copy the scenario that you want to test out. You should be able to really do what I did in this video very quickly for yourself, and just play around with it. And yeah, so thanks, Jake, for for watching. We still got to do these live streams together, so I know we've been planning on kind of collaborating on this, and I want to see all the things you've done. So I appreciate you watching, Jake. I got to catch up on your live streams, see what you've been up to. Jake is, of course, just happened to start his own company, much like mine, Adaptec, and doing that in Portland, Oregon. So do jump in on LinkedIn. His comment's going to be there. Add him to your network, and he's going to be presenting the same sort of stuff for the foreseeable future. So it'll be a lot of fun working with Jake on these things. Again, some of the other differences here we have, these the actual function, the state view. This is the magical reduce all history to always show what you want. Of course, we're going to get to scalability issues with if we have too many events. How do we use indexing to look at the right amount of events so that we don't have performance issues and still retain this beautiful audit trail that makes these systems so easy to manage and to debug and never get whack-a-mole bugs, and kind of have that integrity to our state that Git has with its back-pointing references to previous commits. So we want that in our applications. And so look at that. Even with this large font, all of that functionality in one page, right? That's pretty cool. So yeah, that definitely, if we collaborate, Jake, we could just work on the event model. I actually need some help, and if people want to collaborate, I want to build out the next few screens here, and then we can, definitely we have a screen for rearranging the conference topics, the sessions that are suggested, to make that schedule. And there's some fun work there. I want to have a non-JavaScript dumb version with radio buttons to kind of be able to just do that as a regular post, but then have an enhanced version. If JavaScript's enabled, you can do drag and drop from one area and just plunk them onto the grid of our schedule. So that'll be fun. I mean, if you want to join me for that, that'll be really cool. And yeah, but hopefully this makes sense for everyone. So this looks good. Let's commit this. So git status again. We have all of these nice things here. We have that template, the application code, very small, very simple. Just a bunch of reducers transforming the data. That's all that we have in business. A lot kind of like information management systems. They're pretty dumb, so we should just continue to use a very small set of patterns over and over again to get what we want, and that makes it predictable, easy to find bugs, easy to design, and everything else. So yeah, git commit. I think we kind of finished the votes. Now, if we run this application right now, the complete thing, we will get to the votes page, but obviously we have no way, there's no functionality behind that button to cast a vote. So we'll just see no suggestion or no votes or 0 votes for everything. But it should work. So finish the votes state view slice. And we didn't do any testing. I guess we could. I kind of want to do test after when we get into some interesting situations where we want to show some permutations that we don't care to manually step through, and then just have some of these tests do that for us. But I don't want to put them in there prematurely. I know it's totally against the grain for what TDD folks want. They want to, make this testable. We know it's testable. It's so testable that we don't even write unit tests, because we can just interpret the event history and have the tests automatically sort of be generated ourselves. We make the asserts across what we expect the events to be. So that makes it a lot more fun. So let's do that. Git push. We already pushed this before. So there we go. Just so that people see it as in the main sort of branch, I'm going to push the main branch along. so that if you're looking at GitHub, this last commit kind of pops up as the latest thing. I don't use the main branch. It's just a pointer to my latest work. So everything in here is just the BPF branches. Yeah, branch per feature branches. I'm not using the main branch for work. I'm simply just adding adding it as a pointer to like point to my latest work. I do want to maybe update the event model. I'm not sure if I changed a lot on there. There's some weird stuff that happened with that Draw.io plugin, which I want to investigate at some point tomorrow maybe to fix up those colors. So I'm not going to bother pushing any of the event modeling diagram up. That hasn't really changed until I figure out what happened with this plugin. So so we can push to the local thing here and main, and we want F only. Should actually do it. No. Okay. Git push. Not doing that. Oh, behind. Okay. So yeah, so we have main includes some things that we're not going to have here. So I'm just going to force it because this is just a pointer. That's okay. I mean, I could check it out and merge and all that, but I really don't want to. I think the reason that's done is because we don't have the diagram done. Sorry, the Draw.io branch in here. So I could, maybe I should have done that, but whatever. Let's see if we can merge that from here. So git checkout main, and then git merge, no edit, and BPF design. Yeah, deleted head modified. Okay, so we want to just add that. Git add event model Draw.io, git status, git commit, no edit, git push, force, of course, because that. Okay, so now we kind of have, you have all my code in main, but really you should be only looking at these branches here, which is this feature branch. We haven't really worked on any other slices, but we will. Again, we got everything done in one commit. It was pretty simple to do this. So anyway, I think that's it for me. It's getting close to midnight. I'm gonna get some rest, and I think I'll be back tomorrow to kind of work on this stuff with Christopher Condren, the former CEO of Event Store, who knows a lot about event sourcing. So that'll be fun. We'll be working through setting up this whole project and kind of trading ideas about it tomorrow. So do join me for that stream. And yeah, I'm kind of excited to be back in the driver's seat working on the features again. And then again, we'll switch back to, you know, once this is all feature complete, we'll kind of play with some scalability enhancements to the infrastructure. And then we'll jump into maybe a version 1.0 or 0.9 from 0.8. I mean, this is less than alpha, but it's fun. And we'll start to look at maybe throwing in some metrics gathering here. For example, getting some counts as the application runs of how often we, we did a file I/O. That's going to be a real indicator of the scalability problems with having to read every single event. And then maybe we'll evolve the event store to be, not so trivially simple. We'll evolve it to have some more capabilities. I already bumped into some things. I don't think I was streaming it live, but as I was reworking the solution, I noticed that sometimes we could write the same sequence number because there is no clash on the number. The sequence number is just part of the event name. So I think there's a way that we can try to create symlinks to a master index, and if that doesn't work, that obviously is a clash, and we can reject or increase the number or whatever our logic is. But we can start to use the file system on the computer as our compare and swap equivalent of replacing certain things that are required for two-phase commit, optimistic and pessimistic locking that we expect when we need it. And of course, we will exercise the more laissez-faire, more natural way of allowing things to happen and just allowing our projections to deal with the fact that something's made into the system at the same time, but the perceived state is according to a convention that allows people to work with a system. This is where we really get the advantage of scalability by being more naturally accepting of the inevitability. Can't speak at this point of having these inconsistencies in data, because that's what happens in the real world, and it's really how we as humans organize ourselves to deal with the exceptions and have our systems continue to work. So anyway, I hope you found this fun. This stuff is all up there if you want to see it. The scrolling here behind me tells you where to find this code. Do join our Discord to talk about this stuff, talk about the event model and how we do event sourcing. And yeah, hope to see you here tomorrow when I'm going to be live with Chris Condren. Looking forward to that a lot, and hope you'll join me there. So thanks. Have a good night. Have a good morning, whatever your time zone is. I'll see you next time.